Welcome to the Goddesses of Social Work podcast. I'm your host, Renita Ray Davis, and we are continuing our special SWAG Award series honoring social workers who embody service, wellness, advocacy, and growth. This incredible series was inspired by my conversation with Sharice Nance, affectionately known as the Compassion Fatigue Lady and the creator of the SWAG Awards. Sharice designed these awards to highlight social workers making powerful contributions to the profession and their communities. And today, I'm thrilled to introduce one of them. Johnnie Geathers is a licensed social worker with over 12 years of experience in social work and mental health. He's the creator and host of JG Mental Health Fridays on YouTube, where he helps individuals learn coping skills and mental health practices they can use in everyday life. Johnnie is also an accomplished speaker, community advocate, and proud member of Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated. Over the years, he's been recognized with numerous honors, including the 2020 SWAG Award, the Pitt Social Work Rising Star Alumni Award, and the 2022 New Pittsburgh Courier Fab 40 Award. Johnnie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
We're glad you're here. We really are glad you're here. That was a mouthful, boy.
And I ain't even all, and I ain't even all of it.
You didn't even know you were doing all that. Yes. That was a mouthful, but I enjoyed it. I cannot wait to get into it. But before we dive into your bio and all the great things you're doing within the profession of social work, I am curious, what is bringing you joy right now, inside or outside of work?
What's bringing me joy right now? Um, I could say change. Change is bringing me joy right now. Recently, I just started a new position at Forbes Hospital as a social work case manager. Um, I am, was working full time with Hand in Hand for 4 years. Started off as part time, then became full time, and now I stepped down to part time and everything. But dealing with with change and also change within my fraternity that I'm a part of, like stepping back from different positions and saying that, all right, let me focus on me now. I can still be involved in other things as need be, but let me focus on me. And I think change right now is giving me more a sense of peace, where I'm like, okay, I don't have to worry about this right now. I could just at the work relax and and stuff. So change right now.
I love that answer. And when most people think of change, they get a little anxious.
Mhm.
It causes or brings up a little angst. So for you to say that change is bringing you joy, I think that's kind of cool. But I also heard you say, Johnnie, that you decided you chose to step back to step back from some things that were uh had your full attention,
Yeah.
and so then being able to step back by choice so that you can focus on yourself is what is bringing you joy. And I brought that up because oftentimes, especially as social workers, we will stay till the wheels fall off at a place,
Yeah. Yes.
at a place or in a situation. And so then, universe has to kind of kindly kick us out the nest and say, all right, it's
Mhm.
time to go. And for you to choose to change and then for it to bring joy, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Johnnie, I am super excited to hear about your social work journey. One of the reasons I started the Goddesses of Social Work podcast was because I love hearing the journeys of social workers. And one, Johnnie, you are one of the fourth men in almost 100 episodes we have done, but you're only the second male social worker that I've interviewed for the podcast. And so I especially am curious about your social work journey. Like how did it begin? Where did it begin? And where are you going with it?
Yeah. So, um, my social work journey, originally, I wasn't even supposed to be in this space. Originally, growing up in Philadelphia when I was 15 years old, I volunteered at a hospital called Pennsylvania Hospital that is on 8th and Pine, downtown Philly. I was a candy striper. So as a candy striper, I was helping out with the patient, making sure the patients are getting their needs met, giving them snacks, water, assisting the nurses and the doctors with whatever they need. And then from there, it shifted into me, volunteering at the Ronald McDonald House in Philadelphia, even doing different things like being an AmeriCorps member, so helping out at different summer camps and things of that nature. When I had that hospital experience and also working with kids and things of that nature, one of my interests at the time was I wanted to be a pediatrician. I wanted to be a pediatrician, but what shifted it to go into social work was during my, I'll say like my junior year of college. I did my undergrad at Penn State. My major was human development and family studies. Um, my siblings, I'm the oldest of four. I have a brother and two sisters. And growing up, seeing them grow up, I always used to ask my mom, like, why are they doing this or why are they doing that? Because I never used to do that and stuff. So it kind of makes me wonder, why do we do the things that we do? Is it because of genetics? Is it because of our upbringing? What is it? And stuff. And within, joining my fraternity and everything and connecting with other brothers, one of my fraternity brothers um, here in Pittsburgh, when I talked to him about, my career approach and everything, and wondering if I wanted to go to grad school or not, he was saying, you should look into social work based on what you're talking about. And I said, what you talking about? Because we hear the stigma of social work all the time and everything. But when I did my research of what social work is, we see that social work is broad and you can do so much within social work. It's not the typical, CYF caseworker. It's not the typical, we're going to take your kids out the house and separation and things of that nature. There's a lot of things that you could do in social work. So when I did my research and everything and started thinking about what grad schools I wanted to go to, that's when, I started looking into it more, which made me chose Pitt for grad school. And my field placements, my internships in grad school kind of made me realize that, okay, this is the space I'm in. My first internship was with the YMCA, where I had my first opportunity working with teenagers. And then my second year field placement was with Mercy Behavioral Health. And with Mercy Behavioral Health, I was able to actually do individual and group therapy with adults that had dual diagnosis. And from there, that's where I'm saying, yeah, so this is home for me. Social work is, here. And been doing therapy for 12 years for different organizations here in Pittsburgh. And now I feel like this moment right now is a full circle moment, because now, even though I'm still doing therapy, but stepping back from it a little bit on a part-time basis, I'm now in a place where it all began, in a hospital setting. So when the opportunity had came for me to, work at Ford's Hospital and everything, and I said, you know what, this is the moment, because it all began at 15, volunteering at a hospital, and now working full time at a hospital. It can't do any, it can't be better than that.
I love that. That is such a great story. And you're right. It's such a full. How did you even end up in the hospital as a candy striper to begin? Because that just seems like such a unique start to
So
your
yeah, so when
story.
I was a teenager, I was looking for like summer jobs and summer internships and everything. And the reason why I was doing that was because of the fact of, when you're here in high school, you want to get like your community service hours and your volunteer hours so it could look good on your resume. So when it's time for you to apply for colleges and everything. So I believe, I don't know if it was my school counselor or I just was looking up something in general, and then I saw it and I said, "Oh, this will be, interesting to, to check out." And I told my mom about it, and I applied and they offered it to me, even though I didn't get paid for it, but it was a good experience. The thing only in the aspect of pay, even though I wasn't getting paid for it, the benefit of it all was they was able to give us meal tickets so we could be able to eat for free at the cafeteria. So which was a good experience in that sense as well. And then we was able to wear scrubs and everything. It was a good experience. And I loved it. I loved it.
I love that as a 15-year-old young man being able to eat for free is absolute is absolutely good pay, isn't it? Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I didn't think about this question while we were setting up our time together, but I am curious, social work is mostly a female profession. And statistics say you can look it up, but it's 67% Caucasian women,
Yeah.
right? And so
Mhm.
you are a male and you are a black male
Yeah.
within the social work profession. I never have gotten to ask this question before, and so I'm curious, what is your experience being such a minority in such a female-led profession?
My experience is that anywhere you go, it's gonna be the same, predicament. Even though, like, I'll give you an example right now. At the hospital where I'm at right now, I just started in the case management department. I'm the only male. I'm the only black male. Within hand in hand counseling services, which is ran by Sharice, I'm the only male, the only black male, even though it's a black owned organization. I'm the only male. When I was working at Family Links for 6 years, in the therapeutic classroom department, I was the only male. So anywhere you go, it kind of shows that it's rare for men to be in this space and to be in this profession. But also, I'm proud to be in this profession because people, especially our people, can see that it's a black man that's actually here doing the work and stuff. And Sharice and other people can tell you any space that I've been in, and people see that I'm in that space, people will run. This be like, oh, I want to see you because I hear so much stuff about you. I hear to see the good work that you're doing. And it does my heart good just to show that, yeah, outside of this being a female dominated industry and work, that there are some men like myself and a couple of others that I know that is doing great work in this field of social work. And it's an honor to really be, to be seen in spaces like this.
I love it. And we see you, brother. We absolutely see you. And I'm wondering, do you get, I'm thinking of a clinic I used to work in, and there were three very different social workers, all female, but
Mhm.
three very different social workers. And I was the social service director. And when clients would come in, based on their personalities, I would kind of assign, because I knew that one social worker did really well with young men, and one would do better with older women, and on and on and on. Do you get special cases because you are a black man in social work?
Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
I do when in a therapy setting. Yeah, I do. And then there's some moments where I just take anybody, just to see how things go. Because when you're working with somebody in a therapy setting, it all starts off with relationship. If you don't have that good foundation of relationship, then you're not going to go anywhere. Regardless if you feel as though, oh, I feel like this person would be a good fit for you, or if you're hypothesizing that, okay, this is a black man, put it with Johnny because he's a black man. It don't work like that all the time. It's all about building a relationship with that individual. And once that relationship is built, then the rest is history.
Great answer. Come on through, Johnny, with the great answer. That was a great answer. So here you are, a decade later, and like we started with when in your bio, you have won the 2020 SWAG Award, the Pitt Social Work Rising Star Alumni Award, the 2022 New Pittsburgh Courier Fab 40. Are there any awards left for you to win? What are you planning to do within the field of social work?
Yeah, I won a lot of awards in the profession and also within my fraternity as well. I'm surprised. I'm actually getting honored on September 28th for an award called Passion Meets the Roads Award. And the award I'm getting honored for is called the Road Runner Award. And the Road Runner Award is where the organization actually recognizes individuals that do a lot of community work and just do outreach and things of that nature. And I'm getting honored for that on September 28th. So another award to put on my shelf, to put on my shelf and everything. But I'm very appreciative of every, honor, every award that I receive. It's not for a moment of, saying that, oh, okay, I got this. Once it's, given upon me, I'm thankful. I thank God for it. And it just goes to show that my work is being, recognized, and it doesn't, go for granted.
And that's pretty special in social work to be able to be acknowledged and recognized. And so that is so what do you want to do in social work? Like you've done all of this, what plans do you see for yourself in the future in social work?
So in the future, well, I know right now I'm in the process of going for my LCSW. So I'm preparing for the exam and everything. The date is scheduled for the exam. I'm not going to put the date out there. People have been asking, like, what's the date? I said, no, I'm not doing that because I did that before when I was going for my LSW. And then when I was at the moment of, when I got my LSW in 2021, I didn't tell nobody the date. I didn't tell them where I took it at. I just kept it on a hush for myself. And then I said, boom, I got it after all these tries. And that's the way I feel right now. And the reason being I feel that way because of how the process has happened. I know here in Pennsylvania, they just recently just changed how to do the application for it and everything in that nature. And I did the application a few weeks back, and I actually got the approval of, saying that I'm eligible, to schedule my exam on the anniversary of my dad's passing. So my dad passed on August 18th, 2023. And on his anniversary day, I got the notification that yeah, I was eligible to, register for the exam and everything. So I was like, God and Dad, y'all working. And I'll say ever since 2023, after his passing, like a lot of different things been happening and doors just been open. And I always be like, all right, God and Dad, thank you. Thank you for it. So preparing for that. I still want to continue to do more speaking engagements and everything. Continue to do JG Men on Fridays, which I know we're going to talk about it, on here. But just continue to do what I could do in social work until I say I can't do it no more.
I love it. And we are so blessed to have you in this profession. And let's have a moment to just, a moment of reverence for your dad. I love saying people's names on this podcast because I always know that it took a lot of people to get us here on this spot right here. And it sounds like your dad was one of them. And so do you want to share his name and
Yeah.
let's give him a moment of thanks?
Yeah. So Dad, wherever you are, I know you're around because my
Mm-hmm.
my dad used to brag all the time about any accomplishment that I do and um anything that I have, have going on because he was living in Alabama and stuff. And then every time I get to visit, they was like, "Oh, I heard so much about you and everything." And I was like, "Yeah, I know." Dad been running his mouth. But to my dad, Roosevelt, thank you for being my guardian angel and opening doors for me in this in this space and time.
I love that. And you know what, Johnny? I don't think I told you this. We're just meeting today and doing this. And, we've been emailing a couple of times, but we're just now meeting. And I don't think I told you I live in Alabama.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw when I looked
Okay.
you out. I said, "Oh, okay." Yeah, so like my
Yeah.
dad's side is in Alabama. My
Awesome.
dad's side of the family, they live, some of them live in Tuscaloosa,
Hmm.
Sorrowville, which is where my dad is from,
Okay.
Greensboro, in different areas. And then my mom's side of the family is in South Carolina.
Ah.
Uh, and
So
majority,
the South. Well, how do you end? You know what?
How did I end up in
Yeah, how
how
did
did
you
it
end
end up
up
in
all
Philly?
the yeah.
All right, so how it happened was, so my mom and dad was already living in Philadelphia and such. My mom and dad, they both worked at Burger King, and such, and that's how my mom and dad met. They met through work, and everything. When I was born, my mom went to South Carolina for my cousin's wedding. My cousin got married December 23rd, 1989. And during the wedding reception, my mom was trying to catch the bouquet, and my cousin slash godmom pushed my mom down to the floor and everything. And with my mom was saying, was wondering like why her stomach was hurting and everything like that. So my granddad had to took my papa had to took my mom to the emergency room, and come to find out it was me. My mom didn't know she was pregnant with me at the time, so I ended up being born. They had an emergency C-section, and I ended up being born on Christmas Eve, December 24th, 1989. So both sides of the family, my mom's side and my dad's side, they called me the miracle child because one, I was unexpected. Two, with me being born premature and the way the C-section had to happen, there was a possibility that I wasn't going to make it because one, I think it was like 2 pounds or some ounces, but the way that the C-section, my mom had to do the emergency C-section because the way that she fell, the umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck. So yeah, so I know, me being a surprise to the family and everything like that, it kind of goes to show that I was meant to be on this earth for a reason, and I have purpose and value here.
Absolutely. What an incredible story. I'm like speechless, trying to like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I
What?
always and I always tell people like, all right, I have country blood in me, but I have a city mentality because I grew up in Philadelphia.
Wow. Yeah, you can't take the country out of 'em, right? Yeah.
Can't take the country out of me.
Wow, and the fact that your godmother, I love that she's your godmother, but I know she probably feels terrible, but also feels honored that she's the one, the catalyst, pushing
Uh,
your mama out of the way. Did she catch the bouquet?
I don't know.
We don't even
That
know.
wasn't brought up. That never was even brought up.
I hope she caught the bouquet. Wow. Well, we are so glad you are on this planet and doing this work. Look
Yeah.
at you, John. That is a 2-pound baby, and
Mhm.
now about to get your clinical license.
Yeah.
That is a miracle. No wonder when you keep saying how grateful you are for the awards and for the opportunities you're having. You're speaking of gratitude of just being alive
Yeah.
as well. Yes, that is such an
And I
amazing
do want to
story.
give, and I do want to give my mom a shout out as well.
Yes,
You know,
please,
we
let's do
gave my
that.
dad. I want to give because I don't
Yeah.
want to leave her out too. So, mom, my mom's name is Louise.
Mm.
Thank you for all that you do as well. I know right now with dad not being here, you're my only parent, that I could, rely on and talk to. I talk to her every day. Me and her text good morning, good night all the time, and everything. We had some moments here, which we, parents and kids have moments, and everything in that nature. But I know she always has my back, and she has my siblings back as well. So I'm very, appreciative of my mom and everything, and such. So
Yes, we are so appreciative of your mama for raising such an amazing man who can stand tall in a room full of women and hold it down. So,
yeah,
yes, we love that. Honor, so much honor to your mama. I'm gonna move on to this next question. I'm glad you kind of segued into it. I just subscribed, and we're gonna make sure we have your link to your YouTube channel in your podcast notes.
okay.
But your JG Mental Health Friday series has become a creative and consistent. Y'all go on. He just uploaded some videos recently, but it has become a creative and consistent platform for mental health education. I'm curious, what inspired you to start it? And what impact have you seen JG Mental Health Fridays make so far?
So JG Mental Health Fridays started during the rise of the pandemic. So during the pandemic, I was still working at Family Links at the time. And when the pandemic happened, I had got furloughed from my job. So couldn't do nothing. Couldn't work and everything. But part of me kind of felt like I do want to still help people and everything. And God put the light bulb in my head to say, make some videos. And plus, in that moment too, I was frustrated and I wanted to have an outlet. So that's when I just started recording myself doing videos. It all started out by me just putting videos up on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and clips on Twitter, and everything like that. And then it kept being consistent and kept on going. People started reaching out to me and say, "Hey, can you talk about this?" And I'll talk about it, give them a shout out, but I won't say the name, just for confidentiality. But I'll say shout out to who for giving me this topic, and they all know what the topic is because it's the topic they gave me. But what grew it to go into a YouTube channel was my mom. My mom was saying that, you've been doing these videos and stuff, put it on YouTube. And I was like, no, because I don't want it to feel like I'm doing it for monetization and everything in that nature. But then after giving it some thought and stuff, I was like, you know what? I'll do it. So I ended up making the YouTube channel on my birthday. I actually did it on my birthday, and was that 20? Yeah, in 2021. Did it on my birthday, and stuff. And I just like uploaded all the videos that I already had done already and just put it on there. And then now, anytime I release videos on YouTube, I just put clips on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn and Twitter, and be like, oh, if y'all want to see the whole thing, you gotta go to my channel and watch the whole thing. So yeah, but I love it. It's a good outlet for me, just to talk about different things. And I just love being on the camera, just to talk about stuff. I love when people give me different topics that they want me to talk about, and everything. I did recently, somebody gave me an idea about doing like a day in the life of myself, and I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to do that the weekend of when I get honored. So I'm going to do like a day in the life of me getting ready for the awards and everything in that nature. But yeah, I love it. And the opportunities that came from JG Mental Friday's been amazing. I have been on different podcast shows like this one. I have wrote 6 articles that have been published in Helpful Living magazine. Um, did a lot of different speaking engagements, and it just opened so many doors, and I'm very appreciative of it.
Just by saying, I'm going to get on camera. And so many people are afraid to get on, like, but you seem comfortable and confident. Where did that come from? Being able to just turn the camera on and start talking.
I think for me, what it is that I just had to mainly get out that mindset of like weren't worrying about, oh, how many people gonna watch this or how many people gonna watch that. As long as it touched one person, that's all that matters. And I know for YouTube, that was the main thing that I was like worried about a little bit, but I'm like, whoever sees it. And now, as of today, I saw that I have 105 subscribers. I know I don't got no thousands or anything, that who knows, it might happen in that moment, but the 105 that I have right now, I'm doing something. I'm doing something. It's better than having just one, but even if I just had one, it just goes to show that somebody's looking at it and
And
everything.
it's Mental Health Fridays. And so to me, I'm going to give an example. One of the things that I do for the people that I serve is I make sure that I look a certain way so that they feel like people get dressed up to come to therapy with me. And so
Yeah,
the fact that you are doing the Mental Health Fridays with 105 subscribers, people getting dressed up to come in therapy says that means you took a shower. That means, you feel, when you look good, you feel better. And so you doing the Mental Health Fridays with 105 subscribers, I'm like, you're probably saving a life. You're probably helping diminish depression, anxiety, and all the other, itties that we have. And so
yeah,
105 to me, and I hope I was the 105th one, because five
yeah.
is
You
my
was.
yeah.
You was.
Yes, because I'm like, oh, that's so perfect, because five is my favorite number. So
Oh,
absolutely, I love that. And I'm just thinking the ripple effect that your YouTube channel is having.
Well,
Yeah,
I
go
just
ahead.
look, it's not even 105 no more. It's 106.
Come on through. Look at the
I
growth.
can look because
Look at
yesterday I
the
look it was
growth.
105 when you should, but it's 106.
Yes, that is awesome. So, Johnny, what has been one? I heard you talk about people give you topics, and I know I was looking at a few videos before we started. What has been your favorite topic? Is there a favorite topic so far?
Um, Wow, because I have done a I've done a lot, and which the crazy thing is always like the close, like the end of the year when I have like my little break. I always do my top 5 videos of the year. So I could say for right now, if we're looking at just this year alone, um, one that I feel like that stood out to me right now is it was an actual interview I did with somebody. His name is Kenneth Bourne. He is a licensed social worker as well. He's from Philadelphia, but he lives in Florida right now. He just recently released a child. Well, he's an author. He came up with different workbooks and everything, but he just recently released a children's book called Yestertime. And the children's book was a way of teaching children how to deal with grief and loss. And he wrote the book based on the loss of his father, and everything, and having to explain that to his son, and stuff. But him and we connected through a group. Shout out to Sierra. Sierra's the NASWPA president, and everything. And she connected us together. And we've been meeting like, once a month, just talk about, get to know each other and hang out and everything. And then we recently, back in June, had a Zoom. Not as I would say it was like a lunch and learn, engagement that anybody could, join us on Zoom and talk, listen to us talk and provide tips and tools and everything. But he was a good one. Another one that was good for me throughout the years was just me being vulnerable and sharing to people about my emotions of how I felt about losing my dad, because I wasn't expected to lose my dad the way that I lost him. At that time, and going through like the explaining like the process and the journey of how I felt when I was getting the news about certain things, me having to rush to Alabama just to see how things was going, and then actually seeing him and talk with him, and then not noticing that that time of me talking with him was going to be my last time with him, and then watching him pass in front of me and planning the few, like just going through like the process of it all. That was a vulnerable moment for me, and everything. But those are my top ones right now.
Thank you so much as a Black man for showing what vulnerability can look like.
Mhm.
You know, because especially in the Black community, there's all these stereotypes about having to appear and show up a certain way. And for you to, one, get on camera, engage with other Black men about grief and loss, and then to share your own stories of grief and loss. Thank you. And again, 105, but probably 1,000,005 is the ripple effect of what you are doing by just showing up and sharing your vulnerability. So thank you for doing that. And I don't think I said this. I was so quick to want to honor your dad and obviously your mom, but my condolences too for the loss of your dad. I know that is tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna pivot and go back to these awards that you win. All these acknowledgments and awards that you win. And we're here because Cherise, who um I love that you know her so well, but because she created the Swag Awards. And in 2020,
Mhm.
you won a Swag Award and you told me it was on the importance of human relationships. And I'm curious, you won so many and you're about to be honored again, but we are here because this is a special Swag Award series. What did it mean for you to win the 2020 Swag Award?
What it meant to me was that I was being honored in the field that I was called to be in. Because because most times we choose professions, but professions actually choose us. And I feel like social work chose me. And to be honored for the work that I have done was amazing. And I actually got honored like right before I even got my LSW license. I was still Johnnie Geathers MSW. I was still that. So being honored with that, it was amazing. And also I was part of the inaugural class. So it was 30, I believe it was like 32 of us or some 30, I think it was 32 of us that got honored. So within that list of honorees, I was in a good class. I was in a good class of honorees of people that I know and that I look up to and everything. I know originally we was preparing for us to have an actual ceremony, but due to COVID, we ended up having a virtual ceremony, which still was fun because Sharice made it fun to where we was able to get food or delivered to us so we could actually feel like we was eating at a table and everything. And I think some of us dressed up still, and everything. And the way it was so much fun when at the end, like in the comments, we was like, "Where's the after party at?" Cause it was a good time, even though it was virtual, it was still good. It was a good time and everything. It was a good moment, and stuff. But it's an amazing honor, and with the Swag Awards now being in its sixth year, it's amazing to see social workers getting their just due, getting their props because certain organizations, when they have different awards and stuff, most social workers don't get recognized. So having a space where we're honoring social workers is amazing, but also just to see a vast of social workers in different areas where you could be like, oh my goodness, I didn't know you could do this in social work, like being a teacher, being a professor, working in a hospital, working for the state, working in, courts, all these different avenues of what you could do in social work. It's amazing to see. And I'm also honored as well, even though I was, got honored in the inaugural ceremony. I'm on the committee, and I've been active in the committee for how many years? I'll say 5 years now. Yeah, 5 years now. I've been active in the Swag Awards committee. So I've been helping out with Sharice when it comes to the media and everything. So helping her out with the Facebook and the Instagram page and everything, helping out with selecting the honorees with the nomination committee and everything. So it's good.
You know what? Congratulations on winning that. And wow, that you're even on the committee. Being able to meet the SWAG Award nominees and winners has been an amazing experience for me. Like, you guys are some badass social workers. And so I'm only imagining being on the committee and getting to see all the amazing work social workers are doing in the state of Philadelphia has got to be such an inspiring and motivating eyesight that you have. Like, they're doing, I forget who I just interviewed, but she's an EMT, or she just got a award. I can't think of her name just now. I see her beautiful face, but these are amazingly talented social workers, and so being able to be in that must be pretty cool for you.
And it's amazing, like even though it's in Pittsburgh, and everything, I know Sharice is thinking about one day expanding it. Like I know she did expand it for not just Allegheny County, but now Westmoreland County. So now if it keep going the way it goes, it might end up turning into like a state thing. Be like, all right, we're gonna honor social workers in Pennsylvania as a whole and grab
Nationwide.
and then maybe it could go nationwide and stuff. But it's amazing to see, and it's a good time. Like the ceremony is amazing. I'll say the week of the ceremony is amazing because we got like different events that will gear us up for it. There's a meet and greet, like a networking event that you get to meet and greet other people before we even go into the actual ceremony. People people dress up now. People dress up, and I love it too because I love to dress up and everything. Wear my nice suit, and stuff. And people like to take pictures and walk the red carpet. It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Busting the myth that social workers look like, the old druggy, not but dreary
Uh-huh.
looking, but we're pretty cute and sexy. I saw that red dress Sharice was wearing on a news art.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I was like, come
Uh-huh.
on through, Sharice.
Uh-huh.
Yes, busting the myth that we are just out here looking all pitiful and broke
We could
down.
we put on too. We
Yes.
put on. Even though work make us tired and dreary sometimes, but when we put it on, we put it on.
We
So
clean up pretty nice. We clean up pretty
yes, we
nice.
do.
I love it.
Now I
And I
have
love
fun.
that for you. And because you won this award, you've been in the field for over a decade now, and you continue to win awards. I was really excited to be able to ask you this question because when we come into this profession, there are certain beliefs or we've heard certain, like we said, stereotypes about social work. What has changed? What belief about social work has changed for you over the years?
I know first coming into the profession, the main thing that stood out was money. You're not gonna make enough money, you're not gonna do this, you're not gonna do that. But now being in this field for 12 years now, there's a lot of different ways you can make money. Um, with me doing different speaking engagements, some of the speaking engagements that I do, they compensate you for some of these speaking engagements. Even if you put it out there to say, hey, this is how much I'm charging for this, and this. And organization was like, oh, well, here you go, because we want you. We want you in this space. So doing that, there's like I said, there's other different avenues of making money and stuff. And it's not just saying that, oh, you're not gonna make enough or you're not gonna do this. It just depends on where you see yourself at and how you could be an asset in the space that you're in, and everything. I know right now might as well say I'm working two jobs, but sometimes it don't even seem like I'm working two jobs because it kind of coincides with each other. But that's two paychecks right there. Outside of doing like if there's a speaking engagement that I might want to do and they say, hey, we want to pay you, honorarium for doing this, that's money in my pocket and stuff. So having that stigma of saying that, oh, you're not gonna make money in this field, not in this day in life. You could make money in this field and then some. And even with doing stuff outside of working a 9 to 5 job, doing like speaking engagements, tutoring people on how to get ready for their license, writing a book, creating a workbook, all these different things. I have a good friend of mine. She was a former Swag Award honoree. I will shout her out, Jessica Gurley. She created her own mental health t-shirt line, and I was one of the brand ambassadors for it. She created a t-shirt line, and with that t-shirt line, they expanded from a t-shirt line to her creating bags, workout gear, and things of that nature. So there's a lot of different ways that you could make money outside of hearing what we used to hear back in school, like, oh, social workers, you're not gonna make enough, or you're not. But now we can do it all. We can do it all in this field. We can't settle ourselves to the stigma of what's being told about, oh, well, yeah, you're only gonna make this amount or you're gonna make that. There's some people that come fresh out of grad school that makes a good amount of money and everything. So it really just depends on you looking at yourself as a brand. I know for me, I look at myself as a brand. I look at myself as a brand. I'm a hot commodity. And if you look at yourself like that, then you'll be all right. You'll be all right.
You are a hot commodity, Johnny. Come on through. I love it. I love it. And one of the things too that I think just talking to you tonight, one of the stereotypes or myths that you're busting is that social workers don't get acknowledged or recognized. We've named 4 or 5 different awards that that you alone as one person have gotten as a social worker. And so we are getting recognized and acknowledged. And being able to share that with our audience tonight, that you can be acknowledged and recognized. I do think I love the word that we used earlier for JG Mental Health Fridays. You gotta be consistent though. And it feels like you're very consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm moving on to your fraternity because I've said it a couple times here tonight. You're the fourth guy on the Guys as a Social Worker podcast, so I never get to ask this question, and so I'm curious. You are a proud member of Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated. How has fraternity life influenced your leadership and community work within this profession?
I think for me, with me joining my fraternity, it actually opened me up to things that was already inside that I never knew was inside of me. Before I had joined my organization, I was already involved on campus at Penn State and everything. And then once me joining this organization, it grew me to more, different things. I'm surprised and I'm still thankful to this moment that I was able to have different leadership positions in the fraternity on a local, regional, and a national level, and such. And it kind of goes to show that with me being out in the community, like doing community service and stuff, I tie what I do within the fraternity to the work that I do in the field of social work, and say that all this is connected together. Everything runs as a system. And being in a fraternity space, we're kind of showing people that it's not just about stepping, it's not just about strolling, it's not just about the letters and things of that nature. It's about what you're going to do to give back to your community, what you're going to give back to your organization. Why did you join your organization to begin with? Because most of the times, some people join just because of popularity, status, things of that nature. The reason why I joined my organization was because of the brotherhood aspect. I love the brotherhood aspect of my organization. And plus, with me being the oldest brother and then having younger siblings, I always wanted a big brother. But I had my fraternity brothers at the time before I joined that treated me as like their little brother, and I looked up to them as a big brother, and that kind of made me solidify that, yeah, this is what I want to be, and stuff. And the rest is history with it. And I'm still going strong. Like I said before, the reason why I said change is good because I did step back on my on a local level within the chapter because I needed to, focus on myself. I say I'm still out here, I'm still active and everything, but I need to step back from a leadership, perspective. Um, on a regional level, I was the community service director. I held that position for 6 years. I just finished that off last week and everything. And on a national level, I'm currently right now, I'm one of the national directors for an initiative that I actually helped put together called Time, which stands for Data Men Improving Through Mental Empowerment. And that focuses on teaching our brotherhood about mental health, financial wellness, and legal affairs. One of the staple events that we have within the initiative is called Brotherhood Talks. And we do that every other month where we just talk about different topics and have brothers, have a space to just talk and everything. And then also right now, um, I'm in the which I'm fingers crossed. I'm in the process of seeing if I'm gonna garner another position on the national level too. I just had an interview a couple of days ago. I'm waiting to see if I got the clearance.
We
And
are sending you well wishes. They are blessed to have you. And Johnny, I love that you guys are so focused on Black men's mental health. It just feels so important and such important work that you guys are doing. Let it, making removing the stigma surrounding mental health amongst Black men.
Mhm.
And you being a social worker, you have the foundation. Johnny, I'm gonna ask you a question. This is such a such a pivot. But I thought I heard you say earlier that you, the LSW, it may have taken you a couple of tries.
Oh yeah.
Can you share? Because a lot of people some people give up or they
Mhm.
think they're alone in how many attempts it takes or whatever. Do you mind sharing your journey
Yeah,
on that?
sure. Sure. So, um, in Pennsylvania, you have to go for two licenses. The first one is the LSW, which is your general social work license, and then your LCSW, which is your clinical social work license. For me, with the LSW license, it was a journey for sure for me. Um, I could have took it during 2013, during my last year of grad school, but I was like, nah, I'm not ready yet for it. Even though some of my classmates, they were taking the exam and passing it and everything already, which was fine. But I didn't start doing it until 2014. 2014, a friend of mine, we were studying together, going to the boot camp courses and everything. And then when I took the test, I missed it by 10 points. So I kind of got defeated in that moment, but then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep going. So that one time took 9 times. So each time I took it, I was getting closer and closer and closer. Most people, including my fraternity brothers, they were saying, "Oh, you should have just stopped after the third try." And I was like, "No, that's not me. That's not me." So there was some moments in which I did talk to my therapist about it too, because I do go to therapy as well. Just to talk about like, all right, is it meant for me to be in this field? Even though I was already doing the work, but was it meant for me to be in this field for me to get this license and everything? But I never gave up on it. And my ninth try, which was in 2021, June of 2021, that's when I passed. I passed right on the mark. And the thing was, Sharice at the time, then she had asked, she's like, "Are you going for your like, you gonna go for it again?" And I said, "Yeah." And so she's like, "Well, when you get your license, let me know because I want you to work in my practice." And I said, "Okay." And she told me about, because I told her about how I did everything under the sun. I use different study books. My old professor from grad school used to have weekend boot camp sessions with me. The state board used to have like their little weekend study course just for like a Saturday. Used to go to that. Used to do different practice exams. I used to did everything until Sharice told me about this program called the Therapist Development Center. And with the Therapist Development Center, that's what helped me. I feel like that's what helped me to pass in 2021 because it was at my own pace. It felt like school because I was able to take notes and then do more practice exams and everything. But once I completed the program, I didn't look back at it because normally I'll overthink and start like, oh, I gotta review this one more time. I ain't look back at it. I said, okay, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. The weekend before I had took the test, because I took the exam on a Monday. That weekend of, I got a massage, a full body massage, and I relaxed. I ain't look at no study card. I ain't look at nothing. The testing center I went to was a different testing center than all the other times. That testing center allowed me to take breaks. I had a snack or whatever, had my little snack with me, and I was good. And I passed right on the mark. As soon as I saw that word say pass, I went to scream, but I couldn't scream because it was in the building. So I grabbed grabbed the score sheet that they give you at the end. I went outside, I yelled, and I called. First person I called was my mom. I said, "Mom, I passed." And she's like, "Good," because 2 weeks after 2 weeks after the exam, we had went to Florida for my one of my sisters. It was her graduation slash birthday, gift for her and everything. She was like, "Good. I'm glad you passed because I don't want to hear you complaining and moping and stuff during this trip." And I said, "Well, you ain't gotta worry about that now." So I passed. So
You know what? I'm so because I almost didn't ask you. We were wrapping up. We are at our last question, but I had heard you say that it had took you a few tries, and I was like, I want to go back and ask him that question.
yep,
The fact that it took you 9 tries and
9
today
times.
is 9-9, because I
Yeah,
kept wondering. I was like,
what a
what's
coincidence.
going on with 9-9 today? And it is this that do not give up.
Do not
Do not give
perseverance.
up.
Perseverance is key. And it's great. Nine
Yes.
times, 9 9, feel like 50 Cent.
But really, honestly, don't give up, y'all. Don't
Mm-mm.
give up. Don't give. And I love as you said, it was discouraging, and but you didn't give up. And I love it. Now you're about to become a clinical social worker, and somebody was waiting for you with a job in hand. That
Yeah.
not only did she have a job, she wants you to be on her committee. She was awarding you. They
Mhm.
just waiting for you not to give up.
Right.
Don't
Yeah.
give up.
Mhm.
Don't give up. Johnny, that was an incredible story. I'm so glad that you were willing to share that. And I'm glad I went back and asked you about that because that is an incredible story. And we are so glad that you did not give up.
Mhm.
So glad you did not give up. Okay, so now I'm done. I am done, but we have one final question. And it is, you got the JG Mental Health Fridays and you got all these awards. You are a person who does not give up. You went back 8, 9 times to take this exam. What advice would you give to social workers who want to combine their professional expertise with creative outreaches like YouTube or public speaking?
Um, what I would tell somebody that wants to be in the space that I'm in right now is one, ask yourself why. Why do you want to be in that space? Because most of the times when you ask yourself why, that kind of gives you the motivation to push forward. If you don't know your why in that moment, reevaluate yourself and say, well, why do you want to get in this space? What makes you want to do this? So that's one piece of advice I want to give. Also, another thing I want to share is whenever you have an idea and it's in your head, go for it. Because JG Mental Health was in my head. I went with it and look where I'm at now. It was in my head. And normally with me, anytime and everybody knows this, anytime I have an idea in my head, I write it down and I say, okay, how can I execute this? What's next? What can I do next right now? And everything. So knowing your why, if you already know the idea that you have in your head, don't let it pass you by. Stick with that idea and do it. And then also never give up. Never give up on yourself. Because there's people watching. There's people watching you. And you'll be surprised of how you could be an inspiration to somebody based on what you do on a daily basis.
That was an amazing answer. No wonder you are getting paid to come and public speak. I love that. Do not give up. If you have an idea, you were given that idea for a reason.
Yeah.
Go for it. Go for it. I love that. Johnny, thank you so much for sharing your story, your passion for your mental health education, and your incredible journey as a leader and an advocate. If you would like to connect with Johnny or learn more about JG Mental Health Fridays, we'll have his links and his resources in the episode description. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us for this episode of the Guys of Social Work podcast and our special Swag Awards series. Please be sure to check out the other interviews in this series as we continue to highlight social workers like Johnny making powerful contributions to our profession and our communities.